involved with the drafting of this bill? I mean, what is this bill?
This bill would legalize marijuana. It would allow the states that want to go this route to do so. This whole effort began in 1970, if you will, 40 years ago, and only in the last year and a half did a number of Congress people come together to say, let's go beyond medical marijuana and decriminalization, let's go towards legalization.
So now, Alan, why the leap to legalization as opposed to decriminalizing first? Is it, I mean, if you're going to go through the trouble, you might as well go all the way kind of thing?
Well, in 1972, the Schaefer Commission came out, this big, huge report that Nixon commissioned, saying that marijuana should be decriminalized first before it's ever legalized. Well, 14 states have decriminalized marijuana. 16 states, as mentioned earlier, have medicalized it. So we have gone through that interim period, and it looks like legalization is the next stop.
All right, so what does that mean for those? Let's start with those 16 states where, you know, medicinal marijuana is in fact legal. It was voted upon. You can have it. If this bill goes through, and that could be in months or years from now, if it goes through, what does it mean for them?
It means all the states that currently have those laws, if they want to go from decrim or medical to legalization, they can do so. The other 35 or so states that haven't really picked up on any of these reforms over the last 40 years, for many of them, they have held back saying, hey, the federal government's going to come down on us like a ton of bricks. So now that the federal government, under this bill, if it was to pass and be signed, it would allow those states to move forward. I mean, certainly states like Colorado, Washington, Oregon, California, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, those states poll very highly towards legalization. States like South Carolina, Georgia, the Dakotas, sorry folks, they're doing pretty bad.
Oh, those Dakotas. That's all right. They're going to get a contact high anyways. I've seen the wind patterns. They're screwed. What are the benefits of actually ending prohibition? Sell me on this one, because I'm not sold already.
Well, where do we begin beyond the fact that maybe you and I don't get busted this weekend?
We don't have to, sir. My glaucoma is very serious business, so... No, I mean, of course, you know, we're obviously preaching to the choir. I actually think the whole medicinal argument is ridiculous as well. I think there's just as a sensible recreational argument that should be made as well, and I'm glad that some people are making it. But to those who are at home and saying, well, no, I don't think you guys should be able to smoke your marijuana, what is the argument for ending this?
Well, the quick elevator argument is we can stop destabilizing our beautiful borders with Canada and Mexico, we can tax and regulate it, and we can actually have a cogent message the same way we do for alcohol and tobacco.
Now, what's the argument against, though? Is it because this country happens to make a lot of money off of keeping people incarcerated for possession, or is it because law enforcement wants to keep the drugs off the street? What exactly is the anti?
Ever since you and I have been speaking for the last 2 or 3 minutes, every 35 seconds somebody's arrested on marijuana charges. Every year, 850,000 people get picked up, 90% for possession only. So believe me, there's a prison drug war industrial complex that doesn't want 74 years of cannabis prohibition to go away.
But wait, if every 35 seconds we're busting one of these potheads, should we just hang out for a few hours and the world will be over?
Well, you think that the government had recruited, at this point now, 23 million people have been busted since 1965.
Wow. Well, now that the bill's been introduced, Alan, tell me what's next? Where does it go from here? And how can our viewers get involved? How can people help?
The most unsexy thing in the world. They have to contact their representative and get them to be a co-sponsor, because you need hundreds of co-sponsors, and we need to have hearings. We need to get this bill passed. We cannot endure any more prohibition in this country for marijuana.
Do you think Barney Frank's going to get a strain named after him?
I'd be the first to nominate the Barney Paul strain.
I need some of that Barney gooey. Alan St. Pierre from Normal, thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the good fight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping us in the loop. Right now, let's go over to my favorite stoner, Sarah.
Stay tuned.